Good morning, students. This is the problem for 15 marks. What we have to do it the problem on solvency as well as the current ratio, or I call it as liquidity ratios. Ratios I am speaking about. Okay, ratios. Okay, now this is a full-fledged problem with given balance sheet, that is assets and liabilities, this statement. Okay, here comes a total formatal basis with a format of assets and liabilities. Share capital is there, reserves and surplus, long term borrowings, trade payables, short term provisions. Now under these notes are being passed. For this chapter we are very much important with regards to what now this notes. Okay, in prior module in comparative common size we were doing problems directly from this statement itself, but for this we require these notes because we have to find out the ratios taking from it. Okay, so this is what the full-fledged format till over here. But under share capital what all things are being given, we have to check with that is very important for us. Okay, under reserves and surplus what is given, long term borrowings what is given, trade payables, short term provisions, tangible assets, inventories, trade receivables, cash and cash equivalent, and then short term loans and advances. They are telling us to calculate current ratio. What is the formula for current ratio? Current assets divided by current liabilities. What is the formula for liquid ratio? Liquid assets divided by liquid liabilities. Debt equity ratio will be what? Long term debt divided by shareholders fund. Capital gearing ratio is what? Fixed interest bearing securities divided by equity shareholders fund, or just shareholders fund. Now we require for current ratio what all we require? We require current assets and we require current liability. Now among these given notes, which are the current assets we have to check. Okay, so which are the current assets we have to take into consideration? The first one is coming down to stock, and then comes down to what now? Debtors, and then comes to what? Your cash, and then comes prepaid expenses. So these all will make what? Current assets. When we do a total of it, here comes a note: inventory, stock we have to add, what I have taken it over here. Then comes your debtors, what we have to add, cash we have to add, prepaid expenses. So this becomes what? Total of current assets. Then comes what? Current liabilities we have to consider. So current liability, what all things will come in current liability now over here? Very important. Okay, current liability will be taken with regards to what? Your first of all trade payables, that is what? The creditors. Okay, comes next one outstanding expenses, next one comes provision for tax, then comes what? Proposed dividend. These all are what? Current liabilities. So we have to add it over here: 3 lakhs creditors, then comes 75,000, 1 lakh and 1 lakh 50. Okay, so this will make 6 lakh 25,000. That will be a current liability. So when we are applying a formula, current assets by current liability, whatever we have done a total over here, 20 lakhs divided by 6 lakh 25. So 3.2:1 will be the answer. Clear? Then we have to find out liquid ratio. So liquid ratio, what all things we have to consider over here, and not to consider the other aspects. We should not consider stock, we should consider debtors. Okay, and then we shouldn't consider what? Trade expenses. We should consider cash. So only two things we have to consider for liquid asset, that is debtors and cash. We need not consider stock as well as prepaid expenses, what we have seen in our prior video. So 10 lakhs and 20,000 will come down to 12 lakhs. So that will be what? Okay, when we consider this, we have to consider with respect to your liquid liabilities also. So liquid liabilities will be same as what your current liability is. So liquid assets we have to take it from here, and liquid liabilities will be 6 lakh 25,000. So 1.9:1. Then comes debt equity ratio. Debt equity ratio, what we have to consider? Only long term debts we have to consider. Okay students, only long term debts, that is only one in the problem, that is what? Debentures. We need not consider these all things. Okay, only one long term borrowings is there. Okay, all are short term borrowings. So debentures we have to consider, and shareholders fund. So shareholders fund, what all will come? Total, that is 35 lakhs will come. Then general reserve will come, 1 lakh 25,000 will come down. So these all things we have to consider. So that is what over here, 1 lakh 50, I mean to say 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 2 lakh 50,000, 2 lakh 50. So total will be what? 40 lakhs. So long term debt will be what? 10 lakhs divided by 4 lakhs. So 0.25 is to 1. Then comes capital gearing ratio. Capital gearing ratio will be also same, fixed interest bearing securities. So fixed interest bearing securities are what we have to just check. Only preference and debentures is been given fixed interest bearing securities. So that is what, and divided by equity shareholders fund. So that is 3 lakh divided by what? 2 lakh, 20 lakh. So 1.5 is to 1. So this is what your 15 marks problem. Students, please go through it. Thank you.